Gary Miracle.
Yes, sir.
What's up, dude?
Man, let's chat, bro. Wow, this is so good. Long time coming, right? Like,
I'm so excited to have you in here, man.
heck yeah.
This is huge, dude. I just appreciate you and respect you so much as a man and a person. I'm so excited for just to talk about your story, talk about you, and just chat about life, dude. We spend a lot of time talking to one another, so
Yeah. This is like the culminate. Like we have our text thread is probably ridiculously long, and now we get to not share all of that portion.
Yeah. We're gonna keep a little.
Okay.
We're gonna keep a little bit of that thread to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That's cool. All right, so I'm gonna start with the hard pressing questions, man. We're gonna get into the really deep stuff.
Oh, good.
Is your last name really Miracle?
There it is. There's the go-to. That's it. Man,
Dude,
holy cow.
How many times have you been? I was like, I can't wait to like. I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. And I'm like, dude, how many times has he been asked?
There's one. I was in Chicago one time, and this dude pressed me so hard. I legit had to take my driver's license out just to prove it to him. I'm like, dude, I promise you, it's Miracle. It's not my like stage name. It's not my amputee like crippled name. Like, come on, man, it is. I promise.
That is so insane. It's like, could not think of unfortunately, a better last name for you. I think that's fantastic. But, dude, I have no doubt. So, what makes me laugh about that is when I was a firefighter, I was actually a firefighter at Kennedy Space Center as well as Kissimmee.
Oh, okay.
And so, I ran into a young lady in Savannah. We used to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade every year. If you're a firefighter, you got to go do that because that's a lot of fun. But ran into a young lady in Savannah, and she met me and said, "Oh, you're a firefighter at NASA." And her question immediately was, "Do you fight fires in space?"
Stop it.
I swear.
I don't get okay.
She was, and the funniest thing about it, man, is like you kind of know when people are trolling, but she was dead serious. Like
I wouldn't even know how. I'd have been like, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I absolutely do. Like,
so the running joke is some of those guys, man, they still text me every now and then. They're like, "Hey, man, do you fight fires in space?" You know?
Gracious.
And I'm like, yeah.
People have the guts to ask anything.
Dude, that's a gut punching question, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. I guess we're in this conversation now. I didn't know.
I think about that young lady from time to time. I hope she's doing well. I hope she's raising kids that score really high on the FCAT and standardized testing.
She's probably gonna have an astronaut. Like her son is gonna be an astronaut one day. Fighting fires.
Oh, fighting fires in space. That's funny.
Yeah. Man.
Oh man.
Well, for those who don't know me, probably have no idea why you just asked me if my last name was Miracle or not. Like, they're probably like, "Oh, who cares?"
That's absolutely true, man. So tell me a little bit about just your backstory, man. Where you come from, and sort of how we're in this place. I mean, it's like sitting here,
man. Yeah,
alive.
So here we go.
Yeah, let's
We're
do it.
Dive
Let's dive in, man.
Let's dive in. I'm 44 years old. I have lived in Brevard County since 1991, since I was 10 years old. My dad's job brought us down here from Michigan, right outside of Detroit is where I was born. We grew up right outside of about 5 minutes away from the Silverdome. I grew up watching Barry Sanders, running, playing football. So
I love that guy.
Talk more about that later. But yeah, my dad's job brought us down here when I was 10. Like, I mean, all American dream, like the life, man. Like mom worked, dad worked, have a sister, very close, tight knit family. Like grew up in the church, grew up playing sports, like all the things. Like it was great. My dad was always there. My parents always show up. Like they still to this day always show up, and now for their grandkids. So, and just super close, tight knit family. I graduated high school in 2000 from Rockledge High.
Let's go Rockledge.
That's right.
Let's go Rock. I love that.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So graduated and then thought I was like king of the world. I bounced. I moved to Dallas, Texas all by myself, 18 years old. I knew like 3 people. I got a job out there. Passed up a scholarship to run track. I was fortunate enough to run track at Rockledge High and be pretty successful there.
Yeah, man.
Which is maybe shocking now to hear a little bit, but
you were fast, right?
Yeah. Let's just get this out of the way. I don't have any arms or legs. All right, people. Like, all right. So here we are. This is. Okay. All right.
And just for the record, just so you can't see, man, his toes are painted pink.
They are. Yeah. Maybe we'll throw up a picture or a graphic.
My favorite, yeah, we should do that, definitely. My favorite thing that my son said the first time he met you is not that you don't have arms, not that you don't have legs. He goes, Daddy, did you see his toes were painted pink?
I love it. These kids.
That's the first thing, dude.
Yeah, these kids are so great.
That's so cool, man.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. Anyway.
So look, here's what happened. I was 39 years old, and it was the day after Christmas. So I'm literally coming up
right on
my
anniversary,
anniversary here, and this Christmas, December 26th, the day after, will be my 6-year anniversary of this happening to me. So. I woke up the day after Christmas and I wasn't feeling well. And, is the last week of the year. So my primary doctor, like they're rich, they're on vacation, they're not at work. So I went to the emergency room.
Yeah.
I go to the emergency room. They asked me a series of questions. At the end of that line of questioning, they told me I had the flu. So they gave me a Tamiflu shot, a steroid shot, and they told me to go home, drink a lot of water, get a lot of rest, and if I wasn't better in 10 days to come back and see him again. So, well, joke's on them.
Oh my gosh.
So I wake up the next day and, man, I'm feeling like much worse. So had an allergic reaction to the Tamiflu shot they gave me the day before. So they gave me another steroid shot to counteract that. And then they told me to go home and drink a lot of water and get a lot of rest. And if I wasn't better in 10 days to come back and see him again. So a couple more days went by and man, I was feeling gradually worse and worse and worse. But I had to man up, right? Like it was the flu, like buck up a little bit, like get over it. So I tried to tough it out. I went back to the emergency room. So I'm gonna jump ahead for the sake of time. So it was December 31st, literally New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It was at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I went back to the emergency room for the 4th time. So I skipped a visit there, but I went back for the 4th time. And this time I went into the emergency room and they saw me and they immediately took me back and put me in a room and they hooked me up to some machines. And I was hooked up within an hour. I was hooked up to 46 different machines, just pumping stuff in and out of me. And they looked at my family who was there and they let them know like, hey, you need to call the rest of Gary's family and friends to come say goodbye because he's not going to make it through the night. And so much so that they gave me a 1.7% chance to live through New Year's Eve of 2019.
1.7% chance.
1.7%. So tell me I can't freaking do something, man. 1.7% chance to live through New Year's Eve. And so my family did just that. They started calling everybody else to just come say goodbye. And at the time, my wife at the time, her sister was an emergency room doctor at Orlando Health, ORMC. So she was driving over from Orlando to come say goodbye to me. And while she was driving over, she felt like she heard from the Lord saying that I needed to be on something called the ECMO machine. It's this form of life support, like you may know, like being in that field, in the firefighter field. So I'll explain it just like briefly in a second. But she arrives at the hospital and she tells the doctors and nurses like, hey, I think Gary needs to be on ECMO. And they listened to her. She had a little clout because she was an emergency room doctor. So they were like, all right, you're one of us. So, she's talking to them and they instantly let her know that they didn't have an ECMO machine at the hospital that I was at, but they were at the end of their rope with me. And they were like, we're literally like minute by minute with this guy. So if you think he needs to be somewhere else, like we'll initiate the transfer to anywhere else. So they sat down and on New Year's Eve, 2019, there were only 7 hospitals in the entire state of Florida that had an ECMO machine. One of them happened to be at Advent in Orlando. So man, they initiated that transfer, and at 11 p.m., man, I actually haven't told this story in a little bit. It was 11 p.m. on New Year's Eve. I was shoved into a helicopter to be life flighted. So 1 hour before everyone else here was about to scream and shout and celebrate Happy New Year, being put into a helicopter to be life flighted from one hospital to the next. So I arrive at Advent. This was around 1 a.m. now, January 1st, 2020. like the best year of all of our lives, right?
Right.
I'm just a competitive person.
The
so
beginning, yeah.
I just got a head start to all of our
to-
crappy lives of 2020.
You had to throw down early, huh?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I arrived there. Man, I get out of the helicopter. They wheel me, down the sidewalk into the ICU unit. They rehook me back up to the same 46 machines that I was on at the previous hospital. They look at me and they look at my family and they're like, "Why is this dude here? Like what?" And my family was like, "Hey, well, we believe Gary needs to be on ECMO. You guys have an ECMO machine." And before they could really finish that sentence, the hospital told them that I was not a candidate for the ECMO machine. So it was like, why in the world did we just go through all of this just so that I can die here instead of there and now leave my family with all these extra medical bills and so on and so forth. But then they assured my family, that phrase that nobody ever wants to hear, that they would make me as comfortable as possible, while they could. And so they did just that. Now, if you know much about hospitals, you know that 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day are shift change times.
Yep.
And thank God for shift change times. So 7 a.m. rolls around. I'm still kicking it. Like I'm there. So here's my disclaimer, right? So at this point, I am falling into septic shock and I'm falling into a coma. That's where I'm at. So
yes. So for the people, sepsis is an infection of the blood. So if your blood gets infected, and obviously we have blood run through our entire body. So that is extremely damaging.
It went rampant, quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't remember everything that I'm saying right now for like the next couple minutes. I don't know. It could be a complete lie. This is what they told me happened. I feel like they were right though when I look at me. So, 7 a.m. rolls around. I'm still kicking. At 7:18 a.m., they are making their rounds. The night shift is joined with the day shift crew that's just getting there. They're doing their rounds, going literally in the ICU unit, going from bed to bed. And the night shift is like telling the day shift, like, all right, here's what you're up against for the day. This is the lay of the land. And they're at the foot of my bed. And the clock turned, and now it's 7:19 a.m. And all 46 machines in unison went beep, and I died right in front of them while they were talking about me. And they said it was just like out of the movies. Like within about 30 seconds, my entire body started turning blue. Code blue started going over all of the speakers. All of the doctors and nurses started just flooding into the ICU floor. This little 70-pound nurse, like soaking wet, just jumps on top of me and just starts King Konging my chest just to try to bring anything back that they could. And at 7:29 a.m., just before they were about to stop the resuscitation efforts, one of the nurses looked at one of the 46 machines and they found a slight pulse. So they knew, like, okay, he's not gone just yet. So they continued working on me, got me to somewhat of a stable place. And while they were walking out to the waiting room to tell my family and friends what just happened to me, because they had no idea that I just died for 11 minutes laying in front of them, in front of the doctors and nurses. So they're out there just praying and wishing and hoping for the best,
Sure.
not having any idea like what was going on a couple, rooms over. And while the doctors and nurses were walking into the waiting room to tell them that, the cardiothoracic surgeon who was on call all night joined them in the hallway to talk with my family. And she spoke up at the time, and she was like, "Listen, I have no idea what's going on with this case. I'm just now getting caught up. I know what just happened, but we don't know what we're going to do. So I'm going to throw up a Hail Mary and put Gary on something called the ECMO machine." Just out of nowhere. I mean, just everything made sense.
Really?
In that moment. So they rushed me back into surgery. It was about a 4 or 5 hour surgery to put me on ECMO. And the way that it worked is it runs two lines, one line on essentially either side of my groin, on all the way up inside to my heart. And it's just dripping this medicine essentially on me. And it takes all of the blood, the oxygen and circulation that it can, and it takes it from my whole body and it pumps it into my core to keep my organs running strong.
Sure.
While they're trying to, continue to save my life. Now, why they told me I was not a candidate for it, or why they told my family I wasn't, is because ECMO is mainly designed for people that had just had a heart transplant or a lung transplant. It's that form of life support. So it keeps your other organs running strong while your new heart or your new lungs kind of kick in.
Right.
So on paper, man, I didn't have a transplant. My heart just failed on me. It just stopped working. So, if you're looking at policy over people, they got it right. Like I wasn't a candidate for it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
good job night shift. Like, like thank you for your help.
Night shift, man. They got some trailblazers on the night shift. You got to, hey, listen, dude. Shout out, hey, quick game. If you got to go to the ER at any time, go at 3:30 in the morning. They got nothing to do. All they want to do is help.
Man, and they're there, and they're like sipping monsters along the way.
I was gonna say, so they got energy. They're ready to. Right. They're ready to serve. All the night shift nurses I know are gonna punch me in the face when they hear this. Way. Anyway, sorry.
So they rushed me into surgery. Now I this all happened again like January 1st.
Right.
Like, this is all between 7:30 and 8 a.m. on that morning, and they put me on life support, and then I'm in a coma, and then that's where I was at. My family had no idea. Like, was I ever going to wake up from my coma? If I did, was I just going to be a vegetable? Like, was I going to have brain damage? Which I don't think I do. Like, I guess it depends on who.
I think you're pretty awesome.
I mean, I try. Fake it till you make it. But yeah, and then January 10th rolls around. So 10 days later. And man, I will never, ever forget it. Man, I can close my eyes and still see it. But I cracked my eyes open for the very first time, and I saw my mom's face, and she was probably inches away from me. And there's actually some pretty like amazing pictures of this moment with just my family just hovering over me all the 10 days that I was in a coma. And I saw my mom's face, and I always joke like it's fitting. It's the first way I came into the world too, so I might as well be the second way I came into the world.
Yeah, right.
So I saw my mom's face, and then I just remember looking at me and my body, and at that time, they had not done the amputations, but there were two words that they used to describe my arms and legs, and the first one was a fairly known medical term. It was necrotic. Like my arms and legs were just dying, like they were turning. They were pitch black and hard as a rock. Like you could take a hammer and hit my legs, and it would sound like you were hitting concrete outside, and that's just from 10 days. Like that's how quick, when we were talking about sepsis and just how it flies through your body. Like, man, it eats you up pretty good from the inside out.
That's right.
So, had they done the amputations when they wanted to, and like both of my arms would have been amputated well above my elbows, and both of my legs above my knees. And the quality of life as an amputee with your joints is drastically different than the quality of life without them for prosthetic purposes. So being able to keep my joints was something that my family really advocated for, fought for me for. So the doctors were like, yes, like we'll wait as long as we can, but there's no way Gary can take another round of septic shock. So if infection starts setting in, it's going to turn into an emergency surgery at that point, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there, kind of thing.
Right.
So we were like, well, okay, like we're willing to take that risk. And at that point, I was even awake, and when I woke up from my coma, for the first 10 or 12 days, I had lost my ability to speak. My vocal cords were gone. Like I literally could not talk. They had to perform about 12 days later. They performed a tracheotomy on me, and I was able to, say my first word at that point. So I wake up from a coma looking like this, and I can't talk. I can't even communicate. And I remember having to like mouth everything I was trying to say. And, if you were good at like Pictionary or charades, like you got what, like my mom, I love you, Mom. She was brutal, dude. I would have to go letter by letter with her. Like 30 minutes later, it was like, oh, water, you want a drink? I was like, yeah, Mom, thanks. So, so they had to perform the tracheotomy on me, and then I was able to communicate, and I was like, whoa, like what is happening? Like, so then they just start explaining to me like everything that I had went through, and it was like, do I lose my life or do I lose my limbs? And my family was like, we'll take them back however you can give them to us. So let's take the limbs. Let's go. So, man, I'll never forget. It was March 18th. So about 2 months later, after a handful of scares, like coding again, the night of the Super Bowl, the Chiefs won. That's how bad I hate the Chiefs. I died again the night the Chiefs won, the first weekend of
You're
February.
like, no.
Yeah. So that's why this past weekend was so great when they got eliminated. Shout out Jawan Taylor. I love you, bro.
Yeah, we love Jawan, man.
Yeah,
Jawan's cool though.
Yeah. So, you know, I start learning all this, and on March 18th, they come in and they were like, all right, guys, you know, you can kind of see infection. You can smell the smell of infection. Like, you know what's coming. So, they walk in and they were like, guys, like infection setting in on Gary's arms. It's time to go. They're like, but and we got to go. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of time to chat, and then we're going to come back and get him. So it was like, okay, guess I'm going to sleep tonight with no hands. So they came in, and man, I promise you this. And, I talked about growing up in the church and a very close, tight-knit family, and faith, man, it plays it's a huge role into who I am and how I look at life. And, I promise you, though, I'm not some super Christian who's only going to give you, you know, the Sunday school answers to the questions that you ask me, or speak this weird, you know, Christianese language, you know, or something like that. But when those doctors left, and it was me and my dad in there, and you know, I was talking to him, my sister and my mom, they were in there too. And there's this verse in the book of Job in the Old Testament, which, if you've never read the book of Job, like, don't, it's horrible. Like he had a horrible life. Like it was brutal. But you know, I think for a lot of people, like if you grew up in the church or not, like you've probably heard this verse. And you know, in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 21, it says, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. And man, for 39 years of my life, the Lord had given me hands and legs, and it was just taking away time. And, you know, I can't, within my heart, spend my whole life since I was 11 years old telling people about Jesus and trying to convince people about Jesus and tell them that God is good all the time. And now that something traumatic is happening to me in my life, now live my life like he's no longer good, I couldn't do that. So that was the line in the sand moment for me. Like, what am I going to do? Like, am I just going to, you know, sit on the couch and get addicted to pain pills and watch Dr. Phil and Judge Judy all day and watch life go by and watch my boys grow up and without a dad, and my daughter grow up without a dad, and my parents grow up without a son, and my sister without a brother, and man, or am I going to step on the other side of that line and fight like hell to figure out what it means to live and not just be alive? Like, that is where my whole heart is at still to this day. And, you know, things aren't easy for me. Like you know, it takes me a little longer, you know, to do most everything these days, but I get to do it these days. Like, I don't have to do anything anymore. I get to do them now. Like, that's the way that I want to look at everything that I have to approach in life. And whether the day comes when I am just debilitated with grief because of this, like it might come. It hasn't yet. And by the grace of God, it hasn't yet. But it may come. And when it comes, man, come what may, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But until then, man, I just want to show, if nothing else, I want to show my 4 kids that nothing is freaking impossible.
Man, so I've like already cried like twice. So I can't even begin to grasp the immeasurable weight of grief and sorrow that the people you love the most went around you. And it's like the thing that keeps going on in my head, and the hard thing for me to concentrate, especially as a fireman, because look, like when we work as firemen, we're unfortunately privy to so many traumas and so many things, and we're going through everybody's worst day on their worst day, right? And you get the distinct pleasure of going home and then cooking chicken nuggets for your kids and doing all this kind of stuff, and you just saw or dealt with what was maybe the most grotesque, horrific thing that somebody's experienced, and you stack those up on a pile, and then that gets just very, very heavy and hard to deal with. And that's why I'm doing podcasts and I'm not a fireman anymore. But, you know, I just thinking about you as a person going from something that is normally like, okay, this is something that we would just normally deal with. Okay, I'm not feeling well, I'm sick, I'm going to go to the doctors, I'm going to get better. You don't go through, like, when I get sick, when I just was sick 2 weeks ago. Yeah. You don't go and go, okay, I might lose my arms and legs from getting a cold, right? Like, or whatever it is. Like, you just don't have that mindset. And then to be thrust into this thing unwillingly, like I can't even I would just be so, I just feel like I would just be so angry and so just, it would be so difficult to me. And I feel like a majority of people would feel that way. And for you to have, and I know you personally, so it's like for you to have the amount of grace that you have and the patience that you have and the ability you have, I am overwhelmed by you, man. Like, I think that there are people in this world that are given tasks like this and given things like missions like this, and they're made because they're special. And I think you're special, dude. Like, jeez. Really, like, I appreciate you so much, man. Sorry, not to get all creamy or whatever, but
no, man.
I think as men and as people in this world, dude, like we live so much for just like the bullshit, the gossip, the negativity, the whatever. We feed off that stuff. And I think one thing you and me have bonded over just in our relationship and knowing each other is like, dude, we're just about like just powering up people. I want to encourage people, man, even if it's just like, you know, sometimes tasks are hard. We got to do hard stuff. We got to do challenging things, and we got to come out of the other side and go, look, like we did that. Yeah. And we got to build that. We got to encourage people that way. And we need to motivate, and we need to inspire and those things. And like, that's the world that I want to live in and how I want to be. And I see a lot of that in you. And we bonded over that because we have, you know, we coach football. We're dealing with high schoolers. We're dealing with youth in our area and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of them live in a world now where it's like, okay, I get this hard thing in front of me, and it's not a menial task to them. You know, my 6-year-old plays football, or my 5-year-old plays football, and it's like big to him. It's very challenging. And your son, you know, 2 years in football, and that's probably very challenging and hard. There's a lot of pressures with that. And so it's not menial, and I don't want to like diminish that, but we, you know, kids these days, they have these hard things, these hard tasks put in front of them. And then it's like, the easy thing is like, okay, that was hard. I failed or whatever. I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to move. I'm just going to move on. And there are adults in this world, a lot of them now, where it's like, just move on. Yep. Just go to the easiest thing. Go to the path of least resistance. Do this, that. And I don't think there are enough adults in this world that are the other way, but I think you get that way by dealing with really hard shit, man, and coming out of the other side, if that makes sense.
It does. You know, I a couple years before this, and this is going to go to what we were just talking about, especially about men, right? Like, like we suck at talking about stuff like this. Like we are not good at it, right? Like we are taught to, like I had mentioned about me going to the emergency room. Like, I'm a man. Like, I need to buck up. I need to figure this out. I need to, you know, stiffen up my upper lip a little bit, like that kind of thing. Like, that's what we're taught to do. Like, work harder, make more money, have a beautiful family, like do these things. Like, that's what society ingrains in us. And it was a couple years, and man, this is where I give all of the credit. And this is, to me, the biggest part of my story that I like sharing the most, because this is the real life part, not the tragedy part. Is a couple years, I was about 36, 37 years old, and I went through what I would call, you know, a little bit of an identity crisis, you know, in my life. You know, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who Jesus was to me. I didn't know who I was to him. I had grown up in the church. What I had realized is, you know, growing up in the church since I was 11 years old, I had really taken on the faith of my family. Like, I didn't have my own. It wasn't a firm foundation in my life. It was just a foundation, you know, for me. So I ended up calling, you know, one of my best friends at the time, a mentor of mine. And I'm like, dude, I know you just went through something similar to this. And man, can you just walk through this season with me? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, he joined with this. We got this book, and we walked through this book together, and every day, it took us 6 months, every single day for 6 months. And Zach, I'm not being dramatic, but every single day for 6 months, I woke up to a text message from my mentor that said, Gary, you are holy, righteous, and redeemed. And that's all it said. That's every single day for 6 months.
Wow.
Gary, you are holy, righteous, and redeemed. He was just telling me who I was. And man, like the first week, maybe like the first 2 or 3 weeks, maybe I was like, man, thank you, dude. Like, that's so encouraging, man. I needed to hear that. And good reminder. Like, all right, like a month went by, 2 months. I'm like, all right, buddy, like, I get it. Like, you can stop now.
Dude, I can't even text my wife back when she asks if we need like bread from Publix. Like,
right?
She's probably texted me 3 times already, and I've not responded to any of them, and she's just used to it.
He didn't even have the benefit of the send later feature that we have now. Like, he legit sent it to me. I'm like, man, you are a beast.
That's awesome.
And then, but what happened was, about when I hit that 5-6 month mark, I mean, I just remember sitting back in my seat and being like, man, I wonder if that's really true about me. Like, is that genuinely true about who I am, about who Jesus says I am? And am I going to choose to believe that? And here's where it really came down to is, there was this line in the book that we were walking through together that said, what if there was a place that was so safe that the very worst of you could be known, and you would realize you were loved and not judged for the sharing of it? And as men who are taught to stuff it down, to put the mask on our face that just says it's fine, every time somebody asks us how we're doing, oh, it's fine, everything's fine, fine as fine can be, wife's fine, kids are fine, everything's fine. Like, that's what we're taught to do. But man, peeling that mask off, like painfully peeling that mask off, and trusting you enough to tell you all of my crap and hope that you will still love me and not judge me. And all I have found is that through the sharing of all of my stuff, more and more people are raising their hands saying, man, me too. Like, I'm struggling with this or that too. And listen, there's a ton of things. And I'm going to venture to say that the only difference between me and you, because at the end of the day, we all have struggles.
Yep.
Every single one of us, we're all struggling with something.
Absolutely.
Like, if you're not struggling with something right now, buckle up. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. So we're all struggling. So really, if that's true, then at the end of the day, the only difference between me and you right here, right now, is that my struggles are visible.
Right.
Man, you can see them. You can see me pick this monster up and try to take a drink, and it's different than the way that you pick up your colleague. You can just see that my struggles are different.
That's right.
They're very visible. If you were out to dinner with me tonight, I guarantee you, like, if you're sitting next to me, there's a pretty good chance at some point in that dinner, I'm going to drop my fork. Like, it's a hands thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna
drop. So
a little bit of a complication there.
A little bit there. And I'd venture to say, like, if you were sitting next to me and I dropped my fork, you would instantly bend over and pick that fork up and hand it back to me. Like, if you wouldn't do that, you're a pretty horrible person. But I would venture to say that you would do that. Whatever your motive may be, I don't know, maybe just instantly, like, oh, something just happened and you fix it. Maybe it was genuinely to serve me or to save me the embarrassment or whatever the case may be. But man, I think you would do that for me. But if I don't know what your struggle is, then I don't know how to pick up your fork and hand it back to you. All because you weren't brave enough or strong enough or courageous enough to tell me what your struggle is. I have no choice. You're going to see me drop my fork. But I'll drop my fork and I'll cut my arms and legs off every day all over again than having to suffer through anxiety or depression or eating disorders or all of the, and I could go on and you can fill in the blank with what your invisible struggle is, where mine are visible. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I got all my invisible struggles as well. Like I'm buckled up too with the best of them.
Yeah.
But I talk about it now, so it doesn't weigh on me anymore. I don't have that burden on my shoulders any longer. Now I'm not talking about, writing your junk down on a billboard and go stand on the side of the street and tell the whole world, because not everybody is equipped to be able to carry your burdens with you, to be able to stand with you and link arms with you. But there are a couple people that are. And you know who they are in your life, and others know who they are. Like, you know who you can trust, who you can genuinely trust with your vulnerability. So,
man, I think that's, God, dude, you're just, I was literally just talking about this the other day, and it was a conversation with a friend that I had where, they were just kind of griping about, something someone else was doing and I'm unhappy because of X and Y, and they make me, whatever. And so, I have the thought and the mindset in my head, and again, nobody's perfect at this table. Just so we're like on the same. I mean, we're doing a lot of preaching right now, but nobody is perfect at this table. I can promise you that. If I were to bet a paycheck on anything, I would bet it on that. But, I think a great point to that is, like, you surround yourself around people that complain, you're going to be a complainer.
Yeah.
you surround yourself around movers and shakers, and you're going to be a mover and shaker, and you're going to figure stuff out. And I think ultimately, you control the aspects of what you can control, which is yourself, your empathy, your grace, those things. And if you walk in that, then there's just a piece that comes with that at the end of the day. Like, regardless of what happens, regardless of what other people do, I know that I handled this way, and I did the best that I could in my way. And if you're at peace with that, then there's just something about that where it's like almost like that stuff just bounces off you, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've learned that through a lot of abject failure. Just for the record, like when I got out of the fire department, obviously I had a lot of, like, my struggles were masked, you know what I mean? And I can totally empathize with the physical manifestation, cause that was one of the things that, got me to my point, just to be vulnerable with you. Like, it's no secret to the people that know me. Like, I dealt with a lot of like PTSD type of stuff and just mental health stuff, leaving the fire department. And, it got to the point where, like, one of my last calls on shift as a fireman was like, it was like an 89-year-old lady. We walked into the home, and it was like just a normal medical. Cause if you're a fireman, 89% of your calls are EMS, medical, right? Yeah. We walk in, and the lady's talking and doing whatever, and her daughter's in there, and we put her on the machine. We check her heart's running a little fast, this and that. We're like, okay, let's go to the hospital. It's just the standard, like, you do that 9 times a day, like every day, right? And so we get her in the hospital, and the daughter says, okay, this is the, I'll see you at the hospital, Mom, whatever, and then bye. And then just not like 30, 45 seconds after we close the back door, it's like she codes and she's gone. And it's like an 89-year-old lady, brought her to the hospital. She's gone. And again, that's like, I know. And it's like, I don't mean to disparage that or say that's not, but you see that so much, and it just becomes like commonplace, right? And it's almost like you're desensitized to that thing. And one of my last calls, I got in the we tried to work her in the hospital. Unfortunately, she passed, but I got in the ambulance after that call, and I just absolutely lost it. Like, I don't want to go over war stories, but there are just, things like far past that, so much more horrific, whatever. But that was like one of what we would call the easy ones, and it just, like, the wave of that just came over me, and I was just, I was so, I didn't even feel like I was in my own body. I was like visibly shaking, like wanted to like throw up, like just all these physical things. Right. Yeah. And fast forward to, just a month or two after that, like I'm out of the fire department, moving on, and we're in TJ Maxx, my wife and I, and our kids, and we're shopping, and we're going through, and this is post, night terrors every night, all this guy. I'm sparing you guys all that, but we're going down the aisle in TJ Maxx here in Vera. And my wife is shopping, and she's looking at clothes, and this is like, you said, like a scene from a movie. She's like, hey, do you like this? Do you like this? Whatever. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my vision kind of like comes back to me. I feel this like trembling in myself. And I don't have any really good way to say this, but I got so anxious and so worked up that I actually physically like shit myself. I like defecated myself in an aisle in TJ Maxx. Oh my gosh. And like just was like obviously extremely humiliating, whatever. And it was like, I can't control what's physically happening. Like, I can't explain this. Obviously that's not normal. We don't do things like that unless you get old and you get like a weird fart or something. You don't trust that, but that's another story. But this was not that. But yeah, and it was just kind of one of those things where it kind of got to the point where I'm like, oh, like I'm not okay. Like physically things are happening now where my body's telling me like, your mind is not well. Right. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like so many times, like that's amazing to say. Like my struggles are physical. You can see them, right? You can see them. And so many people today go through, like, we see all these kids and things like that, and you just don't know. You don't know what they're dealing with, what they're going through. Adults, all this stuff in our world today is, especially with social media and all these things, like we're just made to like kind of corner ourselves off and not really like do this simple thing. What we're doing right here is talking, right?
Talk.
And yeah, man, especially as men in the fire service and all that, man, I know guys that took their life because of that very thing. Like they felt like they could not talk to anybody, or they could not get past the thing. I got friends that I've buried, and it's just, we need more of this.
Yeah.
We need more of this. And yeah, just like I said, just hearing your story and all of that, man, I'm just impressed by you, dude.
Man, I'm like, we can literally find anything to argue about, right? Like we can argue about sports teams, we can argue about politics, we can argue about Charlie Kirk stuff, we can argue about anything. It wasn't a couple years ago, the whole world was like arguing about some dress being blue or gold or something.
Oh
like that.
The
like,
blue.
Yeah, like that's how like crazy we can find to argue about stuff. But the only thing that you can't argue with me about is what I have been through. Like I have literally been through this stuff in my life, and that's what I want to talk about. You can't argue with me about that because it literally happened to me. So why don't we just go out there and talk about everything that we can't argue about? Like, let's just go share our stories. Let's talk about all of our crap. Let's talk about the stuff that we're not talking about. Like, to your point, like men, we don't cheer each other on enough, man. We're competitive. Like I'll call you out. Like I'll challenge you to something, but we don't cheer each other on enough, publicly at least. And I mean, man, we have friends, we have best friends, we have people that we're rooting for and whatnot. But man, I want to publicly be like, Zach, man, I'm rooting for you. Man, I'm rooting for the Florida Man podcast. Like I'm rooting for your real estate business. I'm rooting for your family, man. Like I want to ride or die with the people that I want to make it hard to let you into my life. But once you're in my life, man, I would take a bullet for you.
That's
bro.
right.
Like that, like, and I want to make it hard, but I want to pursue that as well though. Like I want to make it hard, but I want to try at the same time. Like I want to let you in. So let me see if I can trust you enough to let you in. If not, man, that's okay. I don't need more friends, right? I don't need more people. I'm not trying to just fill bodies and have people that I can text here or there. Like I want real relationships, real ones that I can take my mask off with and find that place that is so safe for me yet again. And, when I was going through that, I spent about a month and I narrowed down in my life to these 6 men in my life that I reached out to individually. And I asked them, I was like, guys, I know this is not very like conventional, but when you start a business, you have a board of directors, right? Like you put your board of directors together for your business and they help make decisions and do all that. I asked them to be the board of directors for my life. And I'm like, guys, I need you 6 men. And they were all like intentionally chosen, one for like business purposes, one for just everyday purposes, one for spiritual purposes, like all of these things. So, we put this message together and I'll throw out literally anything that I'm going through, like almost on a daily basis. I'll put something in this group text. And if one of them wants to speak into that, they will reach out to me individually. So it's not this, massive group text that's just popping off with everybody's opinions and encouragement or calling me out,
Yeah.
Which is, they do that very well.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all need that. I
do.
need that.
They
guys like us, alphas like us, man. We need that call out, boy.
Man, that was what actually one of the guys. He's a business guy, one of these 6 guys, and he literally told me, he was like, "I will do this, but the first time you don't listen to me, I'm out." And I was like, man. Like if I'm going to trust you enough to ask you and invite you into this part of my life, then I need to trust you enough to follow your lead in my life. If that's the case. Now, I will still take everything that they give me and I'll weigh it up with my own conscience and is this going to benefit me in my life? And if it doesn't, then I'll have that, go back and forth with them about that.
Sure.
But I'm not just going to be like, man, piss on you. Like, no way. I'm not listening to you. No, I trusted you to do this for me. So,
right.
So I'm going to follow that lead. So, man, I think I want men to do that more. Like, man, start with one person. Like, when I talk about invisible struggles, like whoever's hearing this right now or watching this right now, like when I say invisible struggles, you know what your number one is, man. Like, you know what pops up in your mind the second that we talk about that. So, man, the thing that I encourage, and it sounds kind of mean, but man, I pray that the weight of the world is on our shoulders tonight, and that we literally cannot fall asleep tonight until we either roll over or pick up our phone or just tell, text, message, whatever, just one person, and tell them what you're really going through. Tell them who you really are. Tell them what you really looked at on the internet this morning. Tell them that joke that you really said this afternoon that you probably maybe shouldn't have, or this or that, or the one that you laughed at and the person standing next to you was offended by. Like, who knows? But tell them that the one big thing, and just watch how much that you're loved and not judged because of it. And then that encourages you to continue to do that, to continue to talk about your stuff, to continue to put your invisible struggles and make them very, very visible and scary in a way. Like that's scary to do.
It is, man. It's one thing at a time, and sometimes it's not always big. It's starting small, and like, man, I literally just had to do that this morning. I mean, like I said, you get so, I think just as humans, we are so innately like born to just be comfortable, right? Like we like comfortable. Yeah. We like, when things feel good and warm, and we're like, the fireplace is going and it's crackling and we got the Christmas music on, the blanket, and everybody's happy and like, I love you so much. And we're doing all that stuff. Like that's, everybody loves that Hallmark stuff, but we don't want to be like, nobody likes to be like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like watching the train wreck. We like watching from the outside, we don't want to be in that train, but we sure do like watching on the outside. And it goes back to like, like what you said is like, you spend time with 4 movers and shakers, you're going to be a mover and shaker. And I think that like, that's, to me, it's like, that's what I love the absolute most about being around football now and like coaching in high school and stuff. Cause like, look, I had a subpar football career or whatever, and we can call it what it is. But, for however long since I've been out of college, I'd never really had the inclination to coach football. I was just like, I love the game. The game was great for me. I got to do amazing things, got to meet amazing people, and it just kind of left it where it's at. And then I had a son, and I'm like, I knew it's like the minute he turned like 2 minutes old, I'm like, this little jit is going to play football one day. And I know as soon as I like go out there and I just start talking about a little bit, and like people are going to be like, you should coach, you should do that, whatever. And, whatever. And I'm an old man now. So, I don't got all my highlights all over YouTube and Huddle and all that stuff, but, and that's exactly what happened. But what I forgot about football, and what I think is arguably the most important thing about it, is networking is not the right word, but the people you put yourself around and the people you meet, like yourself. Like we met through high school football, and there might not have been another way where we would have connected. Maybe, maybe not, but we met through that, and bigger than that now comes, friendship and accountability. And I view you as someone who I can learn from, and who, like you said, I can be vulnerable with. Like our text thread, it's like there are times where we talk and it's like, hey man, I'm just going to apologize for what I say for the next 3 or 4 hours. And I'm like, God, I laugh so hard every time, because I'm like, I feel that, man. The Buffalo Trace bottle got to about here, and we're like, all right, man, I'm going to go ride on the golf cart and talk some shit, But no, and it's like, and the friendship and the accountability and the growth and all that stuff, that just came from just like volunteering, coaching football. And you wouldn't even, there's so many things about life that you wouldn't even put 2 and 2 together like that unless you tried. And man, isn't that just a mosaic of our lives in general? Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Like you said, like our paths may not have ever crossed in any other world outside of, high school football, and the timely fashion that it did. Like, there's no reason for you to be coaching high school football right now. Like, you don't even have a high school player. Like, dude, your heart is 10 miles wide when it comes to that. Like that, you want to invest in the community that you grew up in and that you are a part of, and you're doing it. And there's not a lot of men that I can look at in the eyes and be like, man, that's incredible. Like, well done. Like the legacy you're leaving. And to your point, like, I will never, ever in a million years forget my high school track coach.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Man, dude, shout out to Coach Dan Sage right now, bro. Coach Sage.
Shout out Coach Sage.
Man, like it's just an incredible, incredible man that I learned so many life lessons from high school sports. And, you know, again, like to your mosaic point there, you know, this stuff happened to me. Okay, great. So then I have some friends that are a part of a band and they wrote a song, you know, people say that kind of stuff all the time. Like, yeah, I got friends that wrote a song. So
I was in a band once.
Yeah.
I love that.
So they wrote this song called "Say I Won't," and you know, they told my story in the music video of the song, and the song gets released, and before you know it, like, it's got 4 or 5 million views. We're on Fox and Friends, Good Morning America together, you know, and all of these areas. And I'll never forget the morning we were on Good Morning America, but it was Zoomed. We weren't up in New York, and I was rushing. I was on one side of my iPad, like my iPad's all set up. I had the lights, the, you know, camera action kind of thing. I was ready to, you know, hop on live national television. But just before that, I was on the other side of my iPad crying because I dropped my cup full of water on my lap, and nobody in a million years would know that. Like, just
Man.
like pieces. Like, I'm sitting here struggling with my visible struggles, but nobody was there to visibly see me do it. And my shorts are soaking wet. I put my cup down on the counter. I'm in my wheelchair, and I roll around to the other side of the counter, and I'm on live national television. And I'm like, nobody knows, but leave it to me. Like, I told everybody. Like,
yeah, you're like
I'm like, dude, what are you gonna like? Listen, I get away with murder right now, man, and I can, because I don't leave fingerprints, so I can literally get away. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, sheriff's office.
If you need somebody for a job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gary's your guy,
bro. Let my daughter bring a boyfriend home for the first time. Like, yeah.
Listen, man. Okay, so I want you to talk about your pup too, because like we're a doghouse, man. So
Heck yeah.
He's got a like legit German Shepherd, right?
Oh, he's
straight from Germany.
Straight
like
from
he's
Germany.
like Sig Heil, like all the way. No, not really, but just kidding. But no, I mean, this dude, like, he ran out to the football field the first time, and I'm like, oh, look, a pup. And that son of a bitch puts his ears up, and you're like,
bro,
oh shit, that
Yeah.
dog's gonna mess me up. Like, he looks the part. You know what I'm saying?
He will jack you up. Yeah, he's a 110-pound purebred all black German Shepherd. Dude looks like a wolf.
Yeah.
You know, when he's coming
Legitimately.
at you. And I got videos of Papa John's delivery drivers and Amazon drivers that throw my stuff. Dude, this dude threw my pizza in the air and it flipped and landed, and they had to bring me a new one because he heard the dog. I mean, it just a beast of a dog. But okay, so short story about
Sorry,
it. I don't even know what time it is.
That's fine. We're good.
So this dog, I get out of the hospital, and, you know, I look into getting a service dog. You know, obviously, like, it would help me tremendously. Like, I'm not just for fun, right? I'm not just going to buy a vest for my dog on Amazon and pretend like
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazon vest. Like, you're sitting at Cracker Barrel and your
Yeah.
dog's like sitting at the other
Freaking
side.
Chihuahua sitting
Dude,
there.
when I see that, man, I just, oh God, that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyway, all
Okay,
right.
yeah. So yeah.
Tyler Childers wrote a song called Biting List, and it's just about people who annoy you, and those people are on my biting list, man. Like, the song is like, if I got rabies, you'd be on my biting list. It's so funny. But in his concert, man, he talks. He's from Kentucky, so he's like, I'm a yapper, you know. So he's like, people that leave their shopping carts in there, your shopping experience isn't over. You got to put it back. And then, you know, people who put their gum on the street, you know, whatever. And I'm like, dude, people who bring their quote unquote service animal and they sit them down and they feed them biscuits.
Stop it.
Oh man. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I could go, like, again, we could find anything to argue about, right? Like that's one.
I know, man.
So I look into 4 different companies, right? And service dogs are $35,000. Like that was the cheapest one that I could find. And that was just for like, you get what you get kind of thing.
Sure.
Like, but 35 grand, I'm like, man, no, I can't do that. Well, I get this company out of Chicago that reaches out to me and was like, hey, are you a veteran? Which I get that a ton. Like, I mean, a lot. People
Sure.
assume that I'm military. I mean, I look the part, especially when the dog's with me. And
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, sometimes I'm like, yeah,
You know what I mean?
freedom ain't free. Like, sorry, I don't mean to take away from the people that serve. Thank you for your service. People.
Thank you.
These colors don't run.
These colors.
So, they reach out and I'm like, no, I get that a lot, but I wasn't. And this is a company that provides service dogs to veterans for free. And I'm like, man, what an incredible service, because I know how much they are now. So the fact that you're doing this, like, I don't want to get in the way of what you guys are doing. About a week or two went by, and then they emailed me back and they were like, hey, we actually heard the song that I was telling you about, the band that wrote the song. They're like, we heard that song, and she said, my husband and I just want to do this for you outside of our company. We want to provide you a service dog.
Wow.
So, I mean, just out of the blue. And,
wow.
And she was like, do you have a preference? And I sent her 3 breeds, and I was like, literally anything, but these are like, if I could get one of these 3, that'd be great.
Right.
About a week later went by. She's like, I found this dog. Like, I'm going to go evaluate him. He's a German Shepherd. Their hips go out on them. Like, that's the thing that we need to worry about with service dogs specifically, because I'm going to use him for certain things. I need him. So he checked out great. And she was like, all right, well, he's like 1 year old. What do you want to name him? And I was like, man, let's name him ECMO. Like, he's my ongoing life support. So, ECMO, he's awesome. And he will literally pick up anything that I drop and put it back in my lap for me. All the way down to a thin credit card if I drop it on the ground. Dude, this giant 100-pound dog will pick it up and put it in my lap.
That's amazing.
There was one day that I was sitting on my couch. It was a Sunday morning. I was getting ready for church, and I was in the living room, and he went in my closet and got a shirt for me and brought it back, and he put it on the foot of the recliner that I was in. Dude, I lost my mind. I was freaking out. I was so excited.
Dude, who needs Neuralink when you got ECMO,
when you
man?
got ECMO. Dude,
Come
and then
on.
he got so excited that I was excited. Before you know it, I had 10 freaking shirts at the foot of the recliner.
He's like, Dad.
He just kept going and getting them. He's like, look what I can do. Look, like, he just kept doing it.
That's so awesome,
now,
man.
the crazy part is, and listen, I'm a dog guy, right? And if somebody told me this story, I'd be like, all right, Gary, you're crazy. But again, you can't argue with me because this literally happened.
Yeah.
Right? On January 10th, the day that I woke up from my coma, literally January 10th, 2020. On January 10th, 2020, my dog of 12 years passed away.
What?
The day that I woke up from my coma, my dog died.
Dude, as if you haven't been through enough. Are you kidding me?
So my family didn't tell me that for like a month, right? Like a month went by. But the crazy part was the part that my family was freaking out about the night that I woke up from my coma. I literally looked at my wife at the time and my dad, who was in the ICU room with me, and I told them my dog's name was Bones. I mouthed it because I couldn't talk. But Bones was there with me in that hospital room. Plain as freaking day, dude. He was sitting in the chair next to my hospital bed.
Whoa.
And so much so that he jumped down. He jumped down, went in the hall, went in the hospital room. I can see this. He went in the hospital room across the hall, and I made my wife at the time go into that hospital room, and she did, to humor me, because there was a man in there hooked up to machines, and my dog Bones went in there. So I was like, go get him. Like, and they humor me. And they were all, I didn't know, but they were all looking at each other being like, Bones just died a couple hours ago. Like, how is he here saying goodbye to Gary? Like, my dog came to say goodbye. He waited for me to wake up from my coma. Dude, I believe this.
Me.
I believe this with all of my heart.
Whoa.
You can call me crazy till you're blue in the face. But like, I was telling them that Bones was in that room, and they had already received the call that Bones was dead. And I know that my dog came to say goodbye to me. And I had the opportunity to write my story in a book, and I talk about this in detail, like about how Bones came to say goodbye to me. Like that hours before, like I wake up from my coma, Bones dies, I see Bones, I tell my family, they think like, what in the world? And then I come home and I get discharged from the hospital on April 1st. Like they came in. I thought it was a joke. Like I thought they were trying to April Fool's me. Like, hey, you get to go home. Psych.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But they literally, I got discharged on April 1st. So I was in the hospital for 107 days total. And I joke, I came out half the man I used to be.
Yeah.
So I came home. Now, April 1st, 2020, like they sent me home. They actually put me in an ambulance and drove me home, you know, from Orlando to my house back here in Rockledge. And while I'm driving home, you know, in the hospital, I had a Fire Stick. So I was just binging Netflix all day, every day. I didn't know what was going on in the world. Like I'm watching Breaking Bad and stuff like that kind of stuff. So I'm driving home and I'm looking out the window of this ambulance while I'm driving home, and it's ghost town. Nobody's outside. Like nobody's going to stores. It's April 1st. It's COVID. Like, but I didn't know any of that stuff. Like I didn't know what was going on in the world. I thought
you're like rapture.
Yeah. I'm
like what happened?
I'm like, I go into the hospital and the world shuts down. Like they can't go on without me. Like that's what I figured had happened, but that was wrong. So yeah. So then I start learning of this thing called COVID, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So much so, like I get out of the hospital 107 days later. I only saw my 4 kids 2 times in those 107 days because we didn't want them to come up to see me the way that I was before the amputations, because it was
rough.
Man,
yeah.
There was a day, like I could send you pictures that would, I mean, probably bring your PTSD right back flooding to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a day that they came in to change my dressings on my leg, and they picked my left leg up before the amputations, and my whole calf fell out and landed on the bed. Like it just, like tendons, muscles, everything. Just I mean, it was pretty rough and gruesome. So we didn't want the kids to see that. So
Sure.
Saw them 2 times in the 107 days, and then I get discharged, and one of them ends up with COVID. So I get to go home on April 1st, and the day before that, March 31st, my kids had to get an Airbnb for 2 weeks to quarantine themselves away from me. Like, so then I finally get out of the hospital, and I'm like, all right, the hits just keep on coming, right?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
it's time to just double down. Like something's got to give. Like I can't. This like you can't make this stuff up. Like,
No.
Like it just keeps on happening, and then it just keeps coming to that verse in Job where the Lord gives and the Lord takes away, and it was clearly just taking away time. Like it just one thing after another, and then about 8 months went by, and my wife at the time decided to go another direction. It's pretty wild, but the divorce rate for an amputee is 82%.
Really?
You know, not everybody means for better or for worse, or in sickness and in health, and not to take away from anybody's story, man. Like there's all the grace in the world. Man, yeah. Like that's just like things just kept getting taken away, and it's like, okay, God, like whatever it is you have for me, I will walk through any door that you open for me. Like just open doors. Like that's all I need is you to just open doors, Jesus, and I promise you I'll walk through it. And then just boom, one after another door just kept opening, and then I get an opportunity to just start traveling and sharing my story, and I'm on the road about 100 days a year right now, and I'm just in front of, you know, colleges and campuses and churches and retreats and camps and all kinds of stuff, and I just get to love on people and try to just share my story, and you know, in a very real, vulnerable way. You know, people get to be encouraged and to be coded as like Magic Johnson, right? Like he's going to go. You know, he can't, you know, go into a business room like, well, let me tell you about businesses like basketball, right? Like no, like let me talk to these business guys. Like let me tell you how to get over hard days. Like let's talk about that part.
Yeah, no kidding. Hard days,
man. I like
hard days,
and I don't want to have any more of those anymore, man. Like,
yeah,
I get, you mentioned earlier, like we're gonna go through some really tough stuff, like very difficult situations, hard circumstances. We're going to have tough decisions to make, all kinds of stuff. But man, if Christ's mercies are new every day, then I can lay my head on my pillow at the end of every day and be like, through all of that crap, man, as a whole, this was not a bad day for me. Man, I had to go through some tough stuff. I had to make some difficult decisions, but as a whole, this was not a bad day. So I'm not going to just piss and moan and cry about all this little stuff anymore. So,
man, I'm blown away, man. Your outlook is something that I just wish I could bottle up and put into myself. I wish it's just something that we could like make like a fragrance and put like Johnny Depp on a commercial and like sell it. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's the world that I want to live in, and it's the world that I want my kids to live in, and it's like just acknowledging the fact that, man, we're going through things, and physically for you, I have no doubt in my mind it was this, but we go through things and they're painful. It's like acknowledging that the stuff we're going through, telling one another like, dude, you're going through some stuff and it's painful. And I recognize that. And that might be why you're talking this way or going through, you know, whatever. And it's like, we don't do that nearly enough too. I just keep going back to what you said, where it's like my struggles are physical, and I can really empathize with that, because so much of our world today is like, it's not physical. It's not visual, you know. Yeah. Well, it is. It's just the way it manifests itself. And it's like, man, so, you know, you probably go and you talk, and I have no doubt in my mind you did not have this on your bingo calendar or your bingo card for, you know, things that Gary's going to do when he's 40 or whatever. And that's part of the beauty of it, you know. But also, like, you probably went into this thing and then traveling and speaking and things, and you're like, if I could just help one person, if I could get one amputee or one young person or anybody for that matter to recognize, like, oh man, you know what? I'm not going to kill myself today because I saw Gary, you know, or I'm going to do right by this person. I'm going to make this right because of Gary or whatever. And I'm sure in your mind, because I know you, it's like, if you helped one person, then it was all worth it. Dude, like, I guarantee you, 100%. You would say that and feel that. And you know, that to me is just like, it's the essence. I wish we could just bottle it up, because you take that, and not everybody's gone through things like you've gone through, but you can take that little nugget and you can apply it to everything you do. It's like, just even something as simple as volunteering as a high school football coach. I'm like, if I can help one kid get where they want to go, one kid, I got a bunch of them, but it's like, if I can help one kid, man, because look, you know, you're talking about your coaches, man, my coaches, they were, and I love them to death. I grew up in a different era, but they were all old, or their sleeves were cut to like here. They wore the same shirt every time. They were smoking cigarettes, you know, whatever, and calling us all kinds of names and really, you know, whatever. And it was just a different era. But like, we didn't, you know, I didn't really relate to, like, for me, it's like, I can relate to these kids. Like, I'm right there with them sometimes, you know, and it feels like college was just yesterday, even though I'm an old man now. But, you know, it feels like high school was just yesterday, and we're not too far off, right? So, you know, in my mind, I'm like, if I can just help one kid and help them understand and get past this hurdle or whatever it is, and get them where they want to go, not telling them where they want to go, but help them get where they want to go, then it's all worth it, man. And it's the same thing in business and my personal, all that. I just try to apply that simple principle everywhere. And I think that is just like you said, it's like you have to go through some real shit, and you have to acknowledge that it's painful to get to the other side of that and live in that peace, man. And we just don't do that enough. And I wish we did it more.
Man, so much, dude. I mean, the fork story, like, right? Like, and that's just like a great imagery to show the difference between visible and invisible struggles, and how people step into those things with us, you know, picking them up for us or whatnot. But I actually sell a shirt on my website, and it just has a fork on it. And,
no way.
And, you know, I get pictures from people all over the world right now being like, hey, wearing my fork shirt in Egypt, telling people my story. Like, it's awesome, unbelievable, man. Dude. And it all of this started, like what you were just saying. I want to show my 4 kids that nothing is impossible. Like, if other people are encouraged by that or benefit from that, or if there's something a part of my story, man, bring it on. I would do it all over again. If one more person gets to get into heaven because of something that I've gone through, bring it on, because I'm going to be okay. I was able to walk in here today on my prosthetics. I'm able to do life. I'm able to drive a Jeep that I have outside right now with no adaptations inside of it. I can literally get in and drive just like you drive your car, you know, this morning. So I get to do these things, and I'm going to be okay. But those people that are suffering with anxiety and depression and those things that can actually kill you more than septic shock from the inside out that you can't get out. Man, I just want to do that part of life. Like, I just want to show people that, yeah, it's hard, but it's worth it, man. Just tell somebody what you're going through, show them that nothing's impossible, and then fight like crazy to make it happen, man. I don't like you said, this wasn't on my bingo card. Like, I just made the Paralympic swim team to go to LA in 2028. Like,
no way, really?
I'm gonna freaking go to the Paralympics in 2028,
dude, for real?
And swim in
that's
the 50
sick.
meters. So I've been training.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. I
you holding out on the group text, man?
That's
Come on,
right. That's right. Yeah. Back in June, I had my final swim meet. I had to make a certain time, and I made it. So I made the Paralympic cut, and I'm training at Rockledge High at the pool there.
Yeah.
The Rockledge High swim coach, she actually won a silver medal in the Olympics in the late 70s.
No way.
She heard about my story, so she's coaching me, and man, we're doing this. LA 2028, I'm gonna freaking wear it.
Let's go.
And I can already, dude, I can see me on that freaking podium hearing the national anthem playing with the gold medal.
Come on, man.
So yeah, dude, and again, all just because I want to show my kids that nothing's impossible.
Dude, let me ask you an honest question.
Yeah.
Because this is a thought I have in my dumb brain. Do you ever feel like you're obviously in a very extraordinary position, and I think that, like I said in the beginning, where it's like, hey, is your last name Miracle? Like, you probably get a lot of that, like, shopping in Publix and like, maybe somebody doesn't know you, but they might know about you or whatever. I'll be honest with you. Like, my wife's an ER nurse, and so she kind of knew a little bit about your story, but doesn't know you like I know you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably get that a lot, where it's like that sort of thing. Do you ever personally like feel the weight of other people? Like, I'm sure, dude, countless people come to you and go, man, dude, I'm just like, I'm trying to get through this thing, or I'm struggling with that thing, or, I'm overweight, or I'm going through this divorce, or I'm doing whatever, any number of things. And I'm sure people share and overshare with you, and because they feel inclined to do so. And it's like, do you ever feel the weight of that at all? Because it's like, you're in this extraordinary position. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if people would have done that to me prior to this happening to me, I think I would have felt the weight of it. Like, I feel like I would have felt the weight of, man, these people are trusting me enough with their stuff. Like, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to help them? How am I going to fill in the blank, right? But now people are sharing their stuff with me, oversharing. Sometimes, like, I'll get 5-paragraph emails, right? Like, I'll get some novels sometimes. And it's, the reason why I don't feel the weight of it right now is because I'm asking people to do it. And I'm believing in my heart that I don't need to respond with anything. I don't need to, every time somebody shares a portion of their story with me, I simply respond with, thank you for trusting me enough to share that with me. Because at the end of the day, you don't need any words of wisdom from me. You don't need any advice. You just need to get it out of you.
Sure.
Like, you just need to just word vomit, just get it out. And the fact that you're able to do that by sending me an email. I was in Dodge City, Kansas one time sharing my story at a youth camp. And I always end my talks the same way. Like, I get that I'm asking you guys to share something very scary about your life, maybe something that nobody else knows about you, with one person at least, right? So, but I know how scary that is. So if you're not there yet, like if you don't know maybe who you can trust just yet, you still need to get it out. So email me and like, I'm like Gary@GaryMiracle.com. Like, email me. I promise you I'll read it. I promise you I'll respond. I respond to every single one of them. And I shared that in Dodge City, Kansas. And within a week of me being back home, I received 4 emails from 4 individual females that all told me, none of them were related to each other. They all told me the week before, so this is what you were talking about earlier, the week before I got there, all 4 of them attempted to take their life, and they were unsuccessful at it.
Man.
By the grace of God. And man, I reached out to where the venue that I was contracted at, and put all of our resources behind those 4 girls, and all 4 of them are just thriving in life right now. Just because they decided, not because of anything about me, because they decided that they were going to send me an email. They just got it out, and I was able to rally people around them. Like they get it out, and then we get to link arms with them and do life with them and have no more bad days. Like, let's not have any more of those, just because we're just going to talk about our life, not about our opinions or our thoughts or our this or that. Just talk about real life. Like, talk about what does it look like to be the Florida man? What is, like, let's talk about the real deal stuff, not the fake book, not the, you know, I want to love, like, have this image of me out there. Like, dude, screw that, man. Oh my gosh. Like, I can't hide my stuff. So if you're going to look at my ugly visible stuff, I'm going to tell you all about my ugly invisible stuff as well.
That's right.
And love me or not, like, you're going to remember me. Like, but I'm just going to do me from now on. And you know, for the better part of my life, I was a professional chameleon. I was whoever I needed to be based on whoever I was with. Man, I would change who I was to get you, to make sure that you liked me, to make sure that I was the funny guy, the best looking guy, the you know, fill in the blank. I had to be that guy, like the front man. Like, I had to steal the show, you know, wherever I was. And before long, like, I started forgetting who I was supposed to be based on who I was with, because there were too many different versions of me out there. There was no real Gary version out there. And then boom, like, this happens to me, and I'm like, okay, God, well, guess I'm just gonna do
now.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no hide now, right?
This is where I'm at. Like, I also have to be very careful about, you know, being in public, like, because people have heard of the story, and, you know, it's not like I can blend in any way. Like, you're gonna know, like, oh crap, like, that's the dude. Like, it's funny because my dad, I'm Gary Merkel Jr.
Yeah.
So my dad, Gary Merkel Sr., when he goes out, you know, he'll be doing something, and he's always scared of somebody's like, well, what's your name? He's like, Gary Merkel, and somebody behind him be like, no, you're not, you liar. Like, Gary Merkel doesn't have arms or legs. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So
faker.
Yeah. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, I can't blend in. I can't hide. So people are going to look at me, and man, I love it, dude. We'll be in Publix, and I will still see, you know, moms or dads grab their kids and pull them closer when I'm coming. Like, like, don't look, like, don't stare.
Yeah.
And man, and now I'm to the point of be like, what'd you just say? What'd you say to your kid? Like, y'all want to take a picture? Like, come on, let's do this. And I'm known around here, everything from, like, Coach Miracle to Mr. Squishy Arms. Like, that's literally what these kids, like, I'm coaching flag football, and I'm giving the kids a play in the huddle while one kid's like squeezing my arm and looking at me like, how are you not dead? Like, I'm like, well, I was, like, so hold my beer. Well, no, you're a kid. Don't do that. Hold my beer.
We're not drinking a flag football. Well, maybe some of us are.
I hold a flask in my leg.
Hold my beer. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, dude, hey, just getting to do life in this community, normalize differences, and just talk about the things that we can't argue about, and just try to leave it. Like, I watched one of those 30 for 30s on Lance Armstrong when I got out of the hospital, and everything that he went through with this testicular cancer, and you know, he had a line in his that says, I got a second shot at life, and I'm going to make sure I live it better than I did the first. So, man, I love that. It resonated with me. I literally got a second chance at life. Like, I died for 11 minutes, and I'm back. And man, whether God just didn't want me yet, or he's not done with me yet, I don't know, but I'm still here. So I want to make damn well sure I live this portion better than I did my first.
Man, that's so awesome. So I'm again, I can't say I'm said this enough. It's annoying. I'm gonna have to crop this out. I'm blown away by you, man. But so I'm thinking in my mind, and this is kind of a profound thought and question for you. You remember the movie Forrest Gump? You know, the cheesy Forrest Gump movie. For you young bucks out there, Forrest Gump is kind of one of the Tom Hanks specials. It's a great movie directed by Robert Zemeckis, and there's a scene that I always thought was really, really profound, and I think that movie, it's got a lot of cheesy stuff, but there's some cool stuff in there too. And I remember specifically the scene where Lieutenant Dan, he is a war veteran, loses his legs accidentally. He said, I meant to die, the whole thing. And the scene that always hit me, even as a kid, because I remember I saw Forrest Gump for the first time at Twin Metro Theaters, which was actually like a 2 theater thing here in West by God, Melbourne, and it was like smoking and like circular tables and the whole deal. Like that's what movie theaters used to look like. And it was going, they'd serve you like deep fried like frog legs, and everybody was just ripping heaters. And anyway, so that's where I saw Forrest Gump. And there was, I just remember being like a little, not a little kid, but a kid there. And that scene hit me, and I didn't quite understand it then, but it hits me now, where he's it's New Year's Eve, and he's in the hotel room, and he's getting kind of drunk, and he's kind of like reflective and whatever, and he's talking about the Bible scripture where he's like, walk beside him in the kingdom of heaven. You remember that line where he's talking about God and I will, and the guys down at the church are saying, we will walk beside him at the kingdom of heaven. And he goes, did you hear what I said? And he throws a bottle and he says, walk beside him, right? And I just, that is so heavy, because he had both of his legs amputated. Yeah. And when you talk, I know you're a man of faith, and so when you talk about like scripture and what the Bible says, what God's promise is to his people and what he says, when you see things like that, people want to take the Bible quite literally, and it's like for you and your position in your life and the thing that happened to you, it's like you can look at that and go, walk, right? Like, what, like, is that real? Do I deserve that? Like, I can't even imagine the thoughts that come in your mind where you're like, God, like, how do I deserve this? What did I do to be put in this position? I'm sure all those, those things come in you, like, what did I do to deserve this? Where did I go so wrong that it's like, I'm going through boom, 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 just like Job, right? And, it's one of those things where it's like, how in your mind do you come to a point where you're like, my faith is the most important thing and will carry me past all of these physical things?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Dude, I love it. I love that. Like, yes, because, I am choosing to believe that, when I die, which I say, what, you only live twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yolto.
Yeah. And I get to see Jesus face to face, like, and with everything that I know and everything that I believe, like, I know that, man, I'm gonna have a brand new body when I'm in heaven, and I'm gonna freaking sprint down those streets of gold one day, man, with all of my heart. Like, I can't wait. But I know this because of my faith. And man, when your hope is hard to find, like, you can borrow mine. And I want that so much, because at the end of the day, like, gosh, long before my sorry self was even a thought in this world, Christ had already known he was going to do this to me when I was 39 years old. I believe that with all of my heart. I believe that I can try to plan my directions and I can plan my steps, but he dictates everything. And I genuinely believe that. So again, like, this is just a blip in my story, because I know he didn't do this to me. He entrusted me with this. And I have to take the baton and run with it, because if I don't, who else will? Like, that's what's in my mind. Like, obviously I know, like, somebody will or could and would, but man, I said this earlier, like, you can't make this up. Like, that, like, he could have taken like a finger from me. He could have taken one hand. Like, he could have taken one whole arm. He took all 4 limbs away from me. So until I figure out why, I'm just going to bust through every door he opens for me. Like I said, like, I don't know that I will ever know why this happened to me this side of heaven. I don't know that I'll ever get that answer. So therefore, I stopped asking the question. Like, I could eat myself up trying to figure this out. Like, why did this happen? What am I going to do? What do I do next? What am I scared to do? What am I not scared? Like, man, I could overthink and just spiral quickly if I do that. Or I could be like, I'm right on time, and Christ didn't mess up on me, and he didn't make a mistake on me, and he knew this was going to happen to me. So the fact that I know I'm going to be okay, my heart is 100%, man. I just had a really bad sickness, but I'm back, and I'm going to make dang well sure that my kids grow up with their dad and they are going to be undefeated with my time. Like they're going to get all of me, and until Christ decides to take me again. Yeah, I'm just pouring everything I got into them, into my family, into this community to do anything and everything. Like I have no power trip. I have no goals. I have no like this is what I'm gunning for. Like there's not like this position or the whatever. I just want to make sure I just love well. Like that's all I want to do. I just want to love really, really well. And if I ever have to suffer through anything, I want to make sure that I suffer really well. And if I can love well and suffer well, and I think I'm going to be all right. So I just want other people to link arms with my tiny arms and do those things with me. So let's just love well, man. Let's love really, really well.
Man, that's awesome. I would love to end this on just that right there. I think that is beautifully said. And dude, listen, I admire you so much, man. Really. I think you're just a special human, and I'm very lucky to know you, and I feel just profound gratitude for who you are. And dude, to see someone stand as tall as you are, I just have just a profound admiration for you, man. I love you, dude. Really, I love you, man. And I appreciate you so much. And I think this is going to be just really impactful for even just one person out there. I think this is going to be great. And so just real quick, dude, if you could, I know you got your website, your book and things like that. I would love for you to just share that stuff, and just how can people get connected with you? How can people, like, obviously you've got a bunch more to your story and things like that. And I just didn't, I hope you don't mind. Like, I just didn't want to like put all the emphasis on the sad days, because I know you, and I know you love to think forward and talk forward, and you know what I mean. So if you could just get the people connected on all that stuff, like
I would love it, and thank you. I mean, thank you for just this space. You are creating a platform for people like me to share a story, and if I get to encourage just one person because of this, it's because you decided to start the Florida Man podcast. So, man, thank you for just leading with your heart and just doing what you feel convicted to do as well. And man, I wish more men could, just do that. Try it. Shoot. Who can?
Just take a shot.
If you fail, man, okay, right. Turn it off. Like, what's next?
Fail 9 times, try 10, baby. That's all. That's all we're doing.
Yes, I love it, man. So thank you for this. So, man, GaryMiracle.com is kind of like ground zero for all the things. When you go to GaryMiracle.com, the very first paragraph that is on the homepage is explaining that my last name is really Miracle. It legit is. It's on the homepage. It's the only thing on the homepage, actually.
Gary, my last name is actually Miracle.com.
I need to just get them all.
That's funny.
So on there, man, I got my calendar. I'm actually speaking on January 10th, a Saturday morning at First Baptist Melbourne. They're having a men's conference. So, man, any man that wants to come, dude, I'll be there. I'm going to share my story live, and all my social media links are right there on the website. But the most important part of it is on top, there's a link, and you can click on it, and it says No More Bad Days. And if you click on that link, it will start an email directly to me. And man, just tell me all your crap. Like, give me everything you got. Trust me with it. I promise you that I'll read it. I'll respond. I'll pray for you. If I can put any of my resources behind getting you what you need to get you to the next step, or whoever to their next step, man, just click on No More Bad Days, and let's have those, and let's just talk. Let's just talk. Let's just keep what Charlie Kirk would always say, like, bad things happen when people stop talking. And man, I just want to talk. Let's just talk and talk and talk until we can't talk anymore. And if we can do that, I think we're all going to be okay, man. Let's just be honest and just talk.
I love that, man. I love that. All right, dude.
That's it.
You ready to get out of here?
That's out.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Gary Miracle, everybody. Bye.
Got a quart tank left in my new Elex. But that's all right, 'cause I'm gon' ride. Got everything in my mama name. But I'm hood rich. Da 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 da.